Okay, I just was thinking about something. I wonder if I ever loved anybody. And you may be saying, why is you saying that? What you talking about? Because I remember my last daughter father said to me, he said, you don't love nobody. No, not him. My husband said that to me. You don't love nobody. You just love Jesus. And I was saying to him, I said, and I'm supposed to love him, right? But honestly, I don't think I really love anybody. I think I thought I loved them. And then as time went on, our relationship went on, I found out I didn't like them. I mean, I didn't love them. I liked them. And I broke up the relationship. And maybe the reason why I couldn't love nobody was because my commitment was to God. I was committed to God and what He said about marriage. So, non-subconsciously, if that's the right way to say it, subconsciously is when you know something, right? Maybe in my subconscious, I was pulling towards the right thing to do, which was be with my husband. I need some sour cream. Onion dip, I used to make that myself. And I'm still eating it, right? So, when my ex-boyfriend died, the one I was pregnant by, I had a miscarriage. I didn't know how much I loved him. Or maybe I thought I loved him. Maybe it wasn't love. Maybe it was guilt. Because you can love somebody out of guilt. Because you feel guilty for the way you may have treated them or didn't treat them or didn't love them. So, while he was there alive, okay. Although she got left away. While he was alive, to be honest, I just was flattered and showed appreciation because he loved me. And I didn't want to be by myself. I was still searching for the love that I wanted from my husband and other men. Not my father. I guess the abuse that I got from my father, not physically, I got from the other man. So it was crazy. It's really hard for me to explain. But my love flaws was because I'm seeing now, and I believe that was the reason why back then, is because I was committed to the Lord in reference to my vows for my husband. That's why I stayed in it for 3 years. And mind you, I wasn't getting too much physical abuse, but I was getting verbal and mental abuse. But because I was young and naive, I was like gullible. And people always say, I've heard people say, I've heard it said, put it that way, that predators scam for their victim and pick them. So, you know. So yeah. I'm trying to think if there was anybody that really had my heart. I met my husband, Utah. I made up my mind that I wanted to leave. I believe the lady said the only way for me to get out of there is to, I think, disrespect somebody. I have a fight with staff, drugs, or pregnancy. And she was like, you don't fit none of them categories, Sharon. So you just finished the term out. You working good. You're a good student. You know what I'm saying? You're very good at what you do. And she didn't too much like Tracy. She didn't like Tracy. She said that's why she was denying it. I guess in all honesty, you can't really hold nobody. But there was a contract that you sign when you sign up. You got to stay in Job Corps for 2 years. If you stay for 2 years, they pay you $4,000. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't there for the money. I stayed there only a year because I had one birthday in there. Now, mind you, my husband was there for 4 years. 4 years. When he met me, he was already there 2 years. And I stayed a year, right? So I made 3 years for him. And I left the following year. So when I left, he was just going into his 4th year. So when I left and came home, his year came up because I got pregnant in the 3rd year. And I had my son March of the next year, which was 83. And he finished out his year, his 4th year, by around his birthday. No. Because he came to New York the 8th. Terrence was born the 5th. He came after my birthday. So he came like the week after. And then the next 2 weeks we was going through the procedures of getting married. which was blood tests and all that other stuff. And excuse me. And he came 2 weeks after Terrence was born. Terrence was born the 5th. My birthday was the 8th. No, I gotta say a week. And then the next 2 weeks, we got married. So, I wasn't too much in love with him. See, I found out as years went on, within my different relationships, I found out the difference of being in love and loving somebody. Because of your own reasons. And they don't have to be really selfish. They only become selfish when you only thinking about yourself. Now, mind you, loving somebody for your own reasons can sound like and look like selfishness, but your own reasons could be like, well, I want somebody to love me like I love them. So that's not selfishness. But if you say, I want somebody to love me for the money I got, for who I am in my company, for the car I wear, that's selfishness, because now you only think about yourself. You don't want people to love you in return for your personality, for the goodness of you, for the good person you are. You just want people to love you for who you are. And you're only in the relationship because they love you for who you are, what you can bring to them, give to them, and you are willing to spend the money on them, but under your terms. And that's how my husband was. Back then, he didn't mind spending money on me, but it was, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Circumstantial love. You love me. Dad, there's another word together. People use it with Christ. You love Christ for, it's like what you can get from him, but it's another word there that you use. That you use. Right now. So, him, he's the first one. So, I stayed with him. I dealt with him because of religious purposes. And it's boiling down to the commitment that I have for God. So way back when I was 18 and 19, I was committed to God and didn't even know it. Didn't even know it. Because think about it. I could have went on about my business. You know, when I think about it, why did I stick around from California? I was pregnant with his child in California, and he was slapping me up in California. He'd mess around with whoever he wanted to mess around with in California. He was bringing women in the house in California, and his mother and his father was there in California. It had a nice ring to it. I cracked myself up. Okay, so, you know, all this took place in California, and I saw it. I cracked myself up. I hope y'all getting a kick out of it. And don't say that girl crazy. You can say it, but finish the sentence with, she is crazy funny. Right. In California. Yes, that's where my husband is from. He's from Los Angeles, California. That's where he was born and raised at, in California. So now, you know, he was doing all this stuff. So I could easily say, Mommy, I'm coming home. But Mommy kept telling me, I never thought about going home, to be honest. Because honestly, I'm the type of person, when I make up my mind, nobody can change it. But because I was a child, even though I was, how old was I? I must have been about 18. Yeah, I was about 18. Could have been 19. Yeah, could have been 19. 17, I got out of high school. 18, I went to Job Corps. So yeah, I was about 19. I only stayed there a year, so I was about 19 years old by the time I went to California. Yeah. So, I was, you know, I was a child. I was still a child. I wasn't like these kids today, bossing my grandmother around, telling her this is what I'm going to do. You don't do what I want done, I'm going to slap you upside your old head. No, I wasn't that type of child. I didn't even have that mentality to do. I didn't even have that mentality to be like, Mommy, you telling me to stay here, and this guy's doing this, that, and the other, and you telling me to stay? No, I'm leaving. And to be honest, my grandmother wouldn't have fussed with me. She'd have been like, all right, Sharon, if that's what you want, come on home, right? Come on home. But I didn't tell her nothing. He even gave me a sexual transmitted disease. Is that what you call it? What is it? That's what they call it, STD, right? Yeah. He gave me an STD. And back then, in the 80s, STDs was out big time. It was like AIDS when it came out. Now, STDs, I'm presuming, is going to forever be out because it's transmitted through sex. And sex ain't going nowhere unless they start cutting off things and sewing up stuff. So these STDs going to always be out. Right? And so far, as far as I know, ain't no other STD came out after AIDS, if I'm right. Right? Because God ain't playing. He like, come on now, you ain't gonna be doing what you want to do and think you're gonna get away with this. I'm a brand, y'all. Just like he did. Wait a minute, let me think. Cain and Abel. Just like he did Cain. Cain killed Abel. No, it wasn't. Right? It was Cain. Yeah. And he became a vagabond. And he was scared because he said that if he goes out there and just wander about in the wilderness, whoever come across him will kill him. Right? And I can't really remember the actual concept of the story, but I'm going to believe it was because of what he did, killing his brother. And if he wandering out in the wilderness or in the desert, then anybody that came across him would know he was Abraham, come on, Sharon, Adam and Eve's son, and they would kill him. So he pleaded with God, and God put a mark on him so that when anybody come across that mark, they wouldn't kill him. So I'm using the mark concept or aspect to say that, you know, he was like, I got to leave my mark for these people that think they sexual activities is all right with me. And who you doing with is all right with me. No, it's not all right with me. I don't care what society says. This is God speaking. And when I say that, I'm speaking in the perspective of God. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they think. I don't care how they feel about the situation. This is what I made. I made man and woman, and that's what I expect to take place. That's what I expect to happen. And that's what I expect to go through, not eternity, to go through lifelong experiences with each other due to the fact of that's the original thing I started. Y'all want to do something else? Bam, I'm going to brand you. So anybody that get these type of things will always remember who I am. So, with that being said, so I'm saying all that to say that I don't think there was another transmitted disease after AIDS that was so powerful to kill people. So, he gave me a transmitted disease. It wasn't no AIDS, though. I'm here to tell you. It wasn't no AIDS, wasn't no syphilis, nothing like that. But it was a disease. And I didn't even know what it was. I went and called the doctor all the way back in Utah, where I went to Job Corps. And I told her about it. And let me tell you something. Just like the director of Job Corps, or the case manager, I'll put it that way, of Job Corps, did not want me to deal with Tracy, because she was saying that I was a good person, I had a good upbringing, I got a good head on my shoulder, I can become a very big person. The different trades I was taking up, she said you could take them trades and you can go find your job now. And by the time you get in your 50s, you can retire, because you only 18 now. Of course, I didn't listen to that. Of course, I didn't listen. Then when it came down to the doctor in Job Corps, and I was trying to get pregnant so I could leave Job Corps, because that was the only way I can get out of Job Corps and go to California. Well, she was like, I don't understand. Why do you want to get pregnant? You got your whole life ahead of you. And this was a little short white lady. Now, I'm using white in a perspective of nationality and the smartness of it, but not in a racist concept. So I didn't want to hear all that. I just wanted to go home. And way back then in 1982, it showed my stability, my commitment to whatever I start to finish. Because I didn't finish Job Corps. I got certificates in painting. I got certificates in custodian. I got a certificate in clerical. And you get another certificate in shorthand. Y'all remember shorthand back in the day? I got all these certificates, right? But I didn't finish it. So I didn't get my whole $4,000, but they gave me half, because I had another year. So they gave me the $2,000 because of who I was, the director, right? Because when it came time for me to leave, I got to meet the director due to my cousin, but that's another story. So, yes, he was doing all of this, and I was, I had the opportunity and the chance, and I'll just say the opportunity to get up and leave. I couldn't go nowhere in California, but I could have called up my gramps and be like, Mommy, I'm ready to come home. But she wanted me to stay there. She even told me, she said, I'll pay for you to get an apartment, you and Tracy apartment. She said, I'll pay for it, because I don't want you to come home. You stick it out. Because I would call her. Sometimes I'd be crying and all this other stuff. And she'd be like, just stick it out, me getting kicked out, Tracy arguing with me. Because I ain't had nobody to talk to, so I would call her up and tell her what was going on. In some perspectives, I would leave some of the stuff out that was really devastating. And I would talk to another guy that I had dated. He was my first. Oh, yes, I did fall in love. He was my first love. His name was Maurice. He went to night school with me. He should have been out of school. So he was going to night school to get out. So he had graduated and all that stuff, but in order for him to get his diploma, he had to go to night school. So that's what he was doing, and that's where I met him. So he was older. I was about 17, so he had to be like about 21. It was time for him to get his tail out of high school. So I really fell in love with him. I really fell. I did. And I guess falling in love with somebody is when y'all feel it in your heart. And when you hear the term heartbroken, that's when you know you love somebody. When you feel it here. And what you're feeling is hurt. You're not feeling animosity. You're not feeling like you want to go and kill them, even though people today kill people. So that's not love. That's possessive love. But when somebody really loves somebody and get hurt, it's to their heart. So they don't really too much want to hurt the person because they love the person. So they prefer to just moan over them, etc. But people that get hurt in love, thinking that they in love, and then come back and retaliate and kill up everybody, that's not love. That's your hurt, and you're embarrassed, or your ego been hurt. Vice versa. Don't necessarily have to be a man, a woman. But anyway, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a even though I took up psychology. Yes, I did. I went to college for it. Got my little credits for it. Oh yes. But I'm not here to tell y'all nothing about that. I'm here to talk about my life. So yeah, I had the opportunity. Oh, yeah, I had the opportunity to get up out of there, to leave Tracy alone in Job Corps. Once I was sent home, I wasn't thinking no more about him, all this stuff. When I got home, I told him, I said, I don't want to marry you. And I was talking to the guy. I think I was telling you that, but didn't finish it. Yeah, there was a guy that I was dealing with in night school. I loved him and everything. But he was having baby mama drama, and he didn't want me to be in the middle of it. So he didn't come to school for like 3 weeks. And I went to his house like 3 times. Each time I went, and I mean, I would like cut out of school. Yes, I would. I would cut out of school. When I would go to night school and I wouldn't see him, the next, I forgot how, I think I went every Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, something like that. Well, you know it wasn't no Friday, that was church day. And it wasn't no Wednesday because that was church day. So it had to be like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, something like that. And each day that I would go to the school, to the night school, and he wouldn't show up, that next day, I would go to his house. And I would wait, because he had like, you had to be buzzed in. So I would wait with somebody going, I would go to his door. Yeah, I knew where he lived. Yes, I did. And mind you, we did not sex. See, I want you to understand that. I lied in the bed. You can lie in the bed with somebody without even sexing them. Okay, so that's what I did. Because just like I said, I was already committed to God. I wasn't even married. Right? And, you know, I was already putting myself, training myself, didn't even know it though, and placing myself in a commitment position. So when marriage came along, it was simple for me to stay in it, regardless, to not cheat and all this other stuff, right? So I went to his house 3 times, and the last time I went, I saw him, and my heart started fluttering and all this other stuff. And I found myself walking across the street. And I'm like, Sharon, what if he turn around and he don't want to see you? What if he turn around and start yelling at you? Then I would go, I don't care. And I went walking across the street, and when he turned around and saw me, that was the best time of my life. And he turned around and saw me, his whole face lit up. Whole face lit up. And he came and met me while I'm crossing the street. He hugged me, let me really know that he missed me. He lost his senses. We did our little kiss, whatever, deep kiss, whatever. And then he stopped. He said, what are you doing here? I'm like, I came to see you. I came to see you. He said, what you mean you come to see me? He said, I was told that you was here like 3 days. I was like, how you know that? He said, trust me, I got people. I'd already let people know that if my girl can't come to me, just keep an eye on her. He said, you know, these streets is dangerous. He lived in Manhattan. These streets are dangerous. I'm saying to myself, these streets are dangerous. I was like, I ain't on no street. I'm coming to see you. What are you talking about? Dang, it's 3:34. So I ain't got no school Monday, Veterans Day. So anyway, so he said, you can't be here. I'm timely talking. I'm on Class Dojo. For anybody that know about Class Dojo, let me focus here. So I was like, he was like, you can't be here. I said, why I can't be here? He said, no. He said, I want you to go home. I said, what? I just got... And he was like, he had my face in his hands like that. And that was like crazy to me. It was like so romantic to me. When a guy takes your hand and hold it in takes your face and hold it in their hand. Like, I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying. Like, I want you in my face right now. Let me stop. So, he was like, you got to go home and don't come back over here no more. I was like, what? He said, I'll call you. I'll see you. I said, but you ain't been to school like 3 weeks. He said, oh, you miss me? Don't be messing with me right now. He said, yeah, I know I ain't been there for 3 weeks. He said, I'll be there. He said, I promise I'll be there. Whatever day that was, he said, I promise I'll be there. If you don't come back here, he said, I'll promise I'll come all the time. He said, go home. And that's when he was talking about his baby mother. Because I was like, why are you trying to make me go home? He said, because it's drama over here. And I noticed that he kept looking around, looking. He said, my baby mother is over here, and she crazy. She happened to hear about you, and she want to meet you. And I ain't let her meet you, because you ain't that type of girl. And if she hurt you, And I was like, shh. Because I was sick. Just like I said, my mind was godly way back there. I was saying to myself, don't say nothing that God gonna make you pay for. So I went on, right? I was like, okay. I'm sorry. I'm like, so, once he told me all that, I was like, all right, I'm going home. He said, all right, I'll call you. So sure enough, when you got back in this, he said, I got a call. He said, I'm going to call you, make sure you get in the house. Or he said something, I'll call him to let him know I was in the house. So sure enough, I called, no answer. Finally, he called me back. He was like, sorry about that, I've been kind of busy. So he was like distracted. Because remember, he's 21 years old. So he got his 21-year life going on. With me, I was only 17. So I had my 17-year-old life was nothing compared to his 21-year-old life, which I found out when I turned 21. I already had 2 children. So, okay, he was the one that I was in love with. And he's the one that I was talking to when I was in California. My husband was doing all the stuff he was doing. And he wanted to talk to my husband and stuff like that. And I wouldn't let him. I said, no. I said, you don't know. And even though my husband was out there messing with whoever he wanted to mess with, giving me whatever transmitted disease that I would get, which was only one. Thank God for that, because I stopped sexing them. They ain't sexing me, giving me no stuff. Right? So I was depriving them. That's what I said. So that's why I say, you know, I don't know about nobody else's relationship or marriage or whatever, but you ain't gonna be out there cheating on me and think you're gonna come and do something with me. I mean, yes, that's what I was saying, and that's why I'm saying this, because I had the opportunity to get up and leave, because he wasn't even my husband yet. So that was red flags, green flags, blue flags, whatever type of flags you want to call it. They was really flagging. They was waving really strong in the wind. And that was a sure sign for me to get in the wind. But I was committed to the spiritual aspect of a vow with God. I'm pregnant by this man. Who the crazy I'm going to get to take care of this child? Because that's what I had in my head. I have a child by this man. This man is supposed to take care of this child. And myself. We supposed to get in a nice house. You're supposed to go get yourself a job. This is what I'm saying. I was already committed to the Lord and his ways. That's why he don't have no hard time with me serving him now. That's why it didn't take me years and months, as some people stay on the altar for 10 and 15 years, and some people get on, get off, and God don't never touch them. I didn't have that issue. Every time I made up my mind to get on the altar and tarry, God came and touched me. And if anybody had any doubts, God came in and confirmed, this is my child. As if to say, this is my beloved daughter, in whom I'm well pleased. Thank you, Lord. So, Yeah, so I had all opportunity to get up and leave him then. Right? We didn't have no issues in Job Corps. Because I couldn't stand him in Job Corps. Right? He became a gentleman on my 18th birthday. He showed his gentleman sides. And that hit my heart. So now I'm blushing, he blushing. I saw a side of him that I never saw again. Before we got married or after we got, that side never came up again. And that's what I've always kept looking for. To be honest, now where he's at now, I kind of can feel it again. Because that boisterous spirit that he had is dead now. He always felt like he was on top. He always felt like he was like the honeymooners. I was Alex and he was Ralph. He would say it all the time. This is my castle. I'm the king of my... Always was running Ralph's line. And I would tell him all the time, I want you to know something. We was like a joke. Because people used to always crack up on us. Because when he would say that, people be looking at him like crazy. I said, well, I want you to know I am not Alex. My name is not Alex. My name is Sharon. People be like, y'all is comedians. But they just didn't know. We was funny, but I was living in a reality of a man that was living in the TV show world. But anyway. So like to make this story short, that was to let me know that I wasn't in love with nobody except for that guy. He had my heart. He was my first love. And it didn't go nowhere. And who is to say, maybe if I was to meet him, I ain't talking about now, but who knows? It could be now. And that's probably why I ain't gonna meet him. God ain't gonna let me meet him. That those feelings will come back. And I wind up leaving my husband. Because in all honesty, I'm just saying this out of biblical perspective. And out of the society of today. Since my husband cheated on me, he was cheating on me way back then, and I wasn't married. But he cheated with me on my marriage, in my home, with one of my friends, right? She was a crackhead, but it still was considered a cheat in God's house. In God's eyes. It still was considered a adulterated move. But I didn't too much think about it. And I was talking to a pastor, and the pastor was saying something that, well, in all honesty, if you knew then what you knew now, you would have been divorced already. And I was like, what's making him say that? So, yeah, so I know my mind just went somewhere. I was thinking about something. So I was like, why are you saying that? Because I ain't even thinking about getting on divorce. But thinking about it now, well, not now. After he said that, I started going, oh, let me see if she texts me singly. Be right back.